My name is Rebecca Nolan, and I live in a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of Madison, Wisconsin. My days are usually simple: work, home, dinner, bedtime. Nothing extraordinary ever really happens around here, which is why what unfolded last spring shook me in a way I wasn't prepared for. The story still lingers in my heart, a gentle reminder that sometimes the people who need us most are the ones we don't expect. It began on a Thursday afternoon. The sky was heavy with clouds, gray but calm, as though it were preparing the town for a long evening rain. My son, Ethan, was staying late at school for a group project, so the house was quiet. I had just finished folding laundry when the doorbell rang, an odd sound at that hour, especially since I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, I found Adam, one of Ethan's classmates, standing on the porch. He wasn't exactly a close friend of my son's, but I recognized him immediately. Dark hair, shy eyes, always polite whenever I saw him during school pickup days. That afternoon, though, he looked different, tense, uneasy, and carrying a backpack that seemed far too heavy for a kid his age. "Hi, Mrs. Nolan," he said softly. "Adam, sweetheart, what's wrong? Are you okay?" He hesitated, but his voice wavered when he finally spoke. "Can I come in? I need help." Those words, simple as they were, carried a weight that pressed straight into my chest. I stepped aside and let him enter. He removed his shoes quietly, almost automatically, as though he didn't want to disturb anything in the house. I led him to the living room where he sat on the very edge of the couch. His backpack remained on his shoulders as if he wasn't sure whether he should stay or leave. "All right," I said gently. "Talk to me. What happened?" He kept his gaze on the floor. "Is Ethan here?" "Not yet, but he'll be home soon. You're safe here, okay? Whatever it is, we can figure it out." His lips pressed together, and then he finally exhaled. "I didn't want to go home." That sentence alone sent alarm bells ringing in my mind. I didn't push, though. I knew enough about kids to understand that trust doesn't bloom under pressure. "Did something happen at home?" I asked softly. His eyes flickered with something: fear, sadness, embarrassment, maybe all at once. But finally he nodded. "Can I just stay here for a little bit? I won't be a problem." "You're not a problem," I reassured him. "You're a child asking for help. You did the right thing coming here." He relaxed just slightly, but the tension didn't fully leave him. I offered him something to eat, just a simple turkey sandwich and a glass of water, and for the first time since he walked in, his expression shifted. Gratitude washed over him so visibly that my heart tightened. Kids shouldn't look relieved simply because someone fed them. When Ethan arrived home 20 minutes later, he froze when he saw Adam sitting at the kitchen table. "Dude, what are you doing here?" he asked, genuinely surprised. Adam smiled weakly. "I just needed somewhere to be." Ethan didn't ask questions, at least not then. He just sat beside him and started talking to him like everything was normal. That's one of the things I admire most about my son. He has a kind of natural empathy, a gentleness that reminds me of my own mother. As they chatted, I stepped aside and called the school counselor's office. I didn't want to pry into things Adam wasn't ready to share, but I also knew I couldn't ignore the situation. The counselor, Mrs. Sheridan, promised to look into it first thing in the morning. She didn't ask me for details, she simply thanked me for letting him stay safe for a while. After an hour or so, Adam finally opened up to me when Ethan went upstairs. "My mom works 2 jobs, he said quietly. She's hardly ever home. My stepdad," he stopped abruptly and shook his head. "He just gets mad all the time. I didn't do anything today. I swear, but he yelled at me and threw stuff. I didn't want to be there." My breath caught. I made sure my expression didn't change so I wouldn't scare him. "You did the right thing leaving," I said. "No one deserves to feel unsafe at home." He blinked rapidly, fighting tears, and I pretended not to notice to give him dignity. That night, after making a few extra calls, the school arranged temporary safe lodging for him. The counselor, a social worker, and even our principal got involved. Everything happened smoothly and professionally, all aimed at protecting Adam. But something deeper stayed with me long after he left our home that night. It wasn't just about him needing help. It was about how silently kids can suffer while the world keeps spinning around them. Over the next few weeks, Adam became a more regular presence in our lives. The school ensured his situation was handled carefully and ethically, and his mother cooperated fully once she learned what had happened. His stepfather was removed from the home pending an investigation, and Adam eventually returned to live safely with his mom after she moved into a different place. But the bond with our family remained. He would come by for homework sessions with Ethan, board game nights, or just to hang out and eat dinner. The haunted look he carried that first day slowly faded and was replaced by something brighter: confidence, belonging, hope. One evening, months later, Adam knocked on our door again. This time he wasn't sad or scared. He was smiling ear to ear. "Mrs. Nolan," he said proudly, "I made the honor roll." I beamed at him. "I'm so proud of you." "That's amazing." He shrugged, bashful. "I just wanted to tell you. You were the first person I wanted to show." And that moment, that tiny but powerful moment, is what shocked me the most. Not his arrival that first night, not the fear in his eyes, not the story he told, but this. How a simple act of compassion could shape a child's direction. How stepping in, even briefly, could open a space for healing. How kindness creates a ripple effect much bigger than we ever imagine. When I tell this story, people often ask me if I regret getting involved. My answer is always the same. Not for a single second. Because when a child knocks on your door asking for help, that is not an inconvenience. That is a calling, and I am grateful I answered it.